He helped her up. She warned him to never touch her again. The battlefield was quiet now. Smoke rose in thin lines across the ruined moon base. Broken metal, burnt uniforms, cracked helmets, but no more shouting, no more gunfire, just the sound of boots crunching over glass. Ryan Hale, human field medic, walked carefully past a scorched tank panel. His scanner blinked red, life form detected. Weak. Fading. He moved faster. The signal came from behind a fallen generator. He stepped over twisted pipes and saw her, an alien girl, curled up beside the wreckage. Pale skin marked with glowing veins. Her body was shaking, eyes half open. She looked like a weapon or a ghost. Her chest rose and fell, but barely. Her name tag was scorched, but one word remained. Zari. Ryan crouched beside her. Her left arm was pinned under the heavy metal. Her right hand was pressed to her stomach. Burns, bleeding, bruises, still alive. He reached out. Easy, he said gently. I'm going to help you. Her eyes snapped open, silver and wild. Don't, she hissed, voice sharp and low. Don't touch me. He froze. I'm not here to hurt you, he said. I'm with medical. Her hand moved just slightly, revealing a crackling glow beneath her fingers. Blue light flickered over her skin. She gritted her teeth. Touch me again, human, and I'll unleash a monster you won't survive. Ryan stared. Her body wasn't just hurt. It was changing. Some kind of energy was building inside her, unstable, pulsing under her skin. A living reactor, held in place by her own will. But her breath was shallow. She was fading, and he knew she couldn't hold it much longer. Still, he spoke calmly. I don't care what's inside you. You're going to die if you stay here. She blinked once. Slowly, he took a breath, then moved, not fast, not rough, just enough to lift the metal off her arm. She screamed, more in rage than pain. But he didn't stop. He picked her up, gently, like she was burning from the inside out. She didn't fight, but she whispered again, trembling. I warned you. By the time he reached the medical bay, her skin was glowing. The nurses gasped. Incoming, code black. Is that Valari strain fusion? Get the dampeners online. But Ryan kept walking. He laid her on the reinforced bed and stepped back, her body arched, her eyes rolled back, and then nothing. The glow faded. She collapsed. Heart still beating, unconscious. Alive. Ryan sat beside her bed later that night. The others were afraid of her. They sealed the med bay. They whispered behind walls. She's one of the failed hybrids. They turn violent. No one touches them. But Ryan had touched her, and she didn't kill him. She could have. But she didn't. Why? He stared at her face. She didn't look like a monster. She looked like someone who had been used, broken, and thrown away. And now she was alone. He understood that feeling too well. An hour passed. Then her fingers twitched. Her eyes opened, slowly, sharply. She stared at the ceiling, then turned to him. You stayed? Yes. Why? You said not to touch you. You didn't say I had to leave. She blinked. He smiled. Small, tired. You scared me, you know. Her voice was dry. Good. He laughed quietly. But then he leaned forward. Are you going to hurt me? She turned her head. No. Why not? Her answer came like a breath. Because you didn't run. He stood up to leave, giving her space. As he reached the door, she said one more thing. Not loud, not soft, just tired. They called me a weapon. You called me alive. That's why I didn't burn you. And then she closed her eyes again. But Ryan stood there longer, because something told him. This girl was more than dangerous. She was something the galaxy wasn't ready for, and now that he had touched her, everything was about to change. She fled from the med bay. He followed her into darkness. The next morning, her bed was empty. The sheets were torn, the lights were flickering, and the walls had burn marks. Ryan stared in silence. She was gone. The girl who glowed. The girl who warned him. The girl with something locked deep inside her. Yari. She had vanished without alerting anyone. The guards thought she escaped. The doctors thought she exploded. Ryan knew better. She ran because she was scared of herself and scared of what others might do if they found her first. He checked the cameras. All were black in that section. He followed the power trail. Systems overloaded across Hall 7 and Storage Deck B. Wherever she went, she didn't try to hide her path. She didn't have to, because the lights died behind her. Like something inside, her sucked the power away, like a shadow that walked with her wherever she went. Ryan grabbed a medpack and flashlight and followed. Storage Deck B was cold, dead cold. All the lights were off. Power grid offline, temperature dropping. The air smelled like metal and ash. He moved slowly, boots crunching glass from broken screens. His flashlight cut a narrow beam through the dark. Then he saw it. A glowing blue streak on the floor. Footprints. Small. Bare. Flickering. With unstable energy. Hers. They led to an old cargo hold at the back of the deck, a place no one used anymore. He stepped inside and froze. She sat in the corner, knees pulled to her chest, arms wrapped tight around herself. Her eyes were open but not glowing. Not now. She looked up when he entered, didn't move, didn't speak, just stared. He held up his hands. No weapons. No needles, just me. Silence. He took a step closer. Still nothing. Then he sat down. Not beside her, just nearby. Enough to share the cold. She finally whispered, "Why did you come? You left before I could ask your name. You already know it. I want to hear you say it." She hesitated, then said quietly, "Sorry." He nodded. "Thank you." More silence. Then she added, "You shouldn't be here." "Probably. I could lose control." "I know. I could kill you." "Then why didn't you last night?" Her voice cracked. "Because for the first time in years, someone touched me without fear." She stared at the floor. The power inside me. It's not mine. They put it there, injected, engineered. A test. A weapon. Ryan listened. "They told me I'd save my people, but when I started burning through walls, they locked me up. Called me unstable." She clenched her fists. "They trained me to destroy, then called me a danger when I couldn't. Stop." Tears glowed faintly on her cheeks. I begged them to take it out. They said it was too late, that I was no longer a person. She looked at him now, eyes wide, wet, glowing just a little. "Do you think I'm still a person?" Ryan's voice was quiet. "I think you're the most human soul I've met in years." She blinked, then said, almost afraid, "I don't want to hurt anyone, I don't want to glow, I just want to feel quiet again." He nodded. "We'll find a way." "We?" He smiled gently. "You didn't burn me. That makes me part of the story now." She wiped her eyes, then asked, "Do you believe in monsters?" He looked at her. "No." "Even after what I did?" "I believe in people who've been used, hurt, lied to, and still try to protect others." He paused. "That's not a monster. That's a miracle." She leaned back, breathing slower. The room felt less cold now, the shadows less sharp, as if her presence and was learning to settle. And Ryan, sitting across from her, felt something strange in his chest. Not fear, not pity, just a quiet truth. He wasn't there to fix her. He was there to remind her. She was never broken. She begged him not to touch her, but he refused to leave. The lights stayed off in the cargo bay. No one came looking, not because they didn't care, but because they were afraid. Everyone on the station had heard what she could do now. Jari, the alien girl with unstable power, glowing skin and a warning in her voice. But Ryan Hale wasn't afraid anymore. He sat across from her in the dark. No armor, no gloves, no command, just presence, and sometimes that was stronger than protection. Zari hadn't moved much since she told him everything. She barely spoke, but she didn't ask him to leave either. That meant something. Her glow was dim now. No fire, no crackling skin, just soft flickers like stars hiding behind clouds. Ryan watched her carefully. She looked tired, too tired for someone so dangerous. "Have you eaten anything?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. He opened his med pack, pulled out a protein bar and a water pouch. She stared at them, then at him. "I can't eat near people." "Why not?" "My body heats up when I digest, my heart rate goes wild, I lose control." Ryan broke the bar in half. "I'll sit over here," he said. "You eat over there." She blinked. He didn't force her. He just waited. After a moment, she reached out, took the food, ate slowly. The silence between them felt less heavy now, like a glass wall finally cracking. Minutes passed. Then she whispered, "Do you know what I used to be?" Ryan looked up. She didn't wait for him to answer. "I was a voice reader, for the blind. I used to read stories to them in the city dome." He smiled. "That's beautiful." She nodded. "They said my voice was soft, calming, a good balance for someone who couldn't see stars." He leaned forward. "I think I would have liked hearing that voice." She looked at him. Her hands trembled slightly. Then she said it again, more afraid than before. "Please, don't touch me." He didn't move, didn't even reach. He just said, "I won't." "But you want to." "Yes," he admitted. "I want to hold your hand, just to show you you're not alone." Her eyes glowed slightly again. "But I might explode, then explode beside me." She inhaled sharply. "You're not scared I'll burn you alive?" "No." "Why?" He looked at her and said softly, "Because I've already been burned by worse things, like silence, like people walking away when I needed them most." She didn't speak, but her hand inched closer, not to his, just closer, and he didn't move away. She closed her eyes and breathed. The air shimmered, just a little, then settled. She looked down at her arms. No sparks, no glow, stillness. "It's fading," she whispered. Ryan tilted his head. "Your energy?" She nodded. "It responds to fear, to pain, to rejection." She looked at him. "I think it's calming because I'm not scared right now." Ryan said nothing, just smiled. She blinked, then whispered, "You did that." A soft noise came from the hallway. Boots' voices, security. Zari stiffened. "They're coming for me." Ryan stood. His body blocked the entrance. "They won't touch you." She stood too, hands clenched, eyes glowing brighter now. "No," she said. "You won't get hurt for me again." "You're not my mistake, Zari," he replied. "You're my choice." She stared at him, like she'd never heard those words before. Maybe she hadn't. Then, the door opened. A guard stepped in, weapon raised. Ryan didn't flinch, but Zari did something no one expected. She raised her hand and lowered the weapon's power cell with a blink of light. No harm, just control. The guard froze, then dropped the gun. Backed out slowly. No words, just awe, because for the first time the girl built to destroy Ndur showed restraint. She turned to Ryan, eyes glowing, voice soft. "I didn't run this time." He nodded. "And I didn't leave." Her powers activated. He should have run. He stayed instead. The next day, the air on the station felt strange, thicker, tense, like something was pressing against every wall. Even the lights flickered more than usual. Ryan noticed it first in the cafeteria. metal trays vibrating on tables. Then in the hallway, door panels pulsing with static, and then he saw a familiar glow coming from the elevator shaft. Blue, bright, flickering fast. Jari. She was trying to reach him, or trying to get away from something worse. He dropped his med pack and ran. Down 3 levels. Past the wounded. Past the soldiers. Straight into the underground storage core, where the floor was already splitting apart, and at the center of it, she stood. Jari, hovering, eyes burning, hair floating, hands shaking, wrapped in raw, glowing energy. She wasn't fully conscious, her body moved like she was fighting herself, like something deep inside had finally broken free. Jari, Ryan shouted. Her eyes snapped open, but they weren't soft anymore. They were white-hot fire. The same hands that once gently turned away from him, now lit up like small stars, crackling, growing, dangerous. "Stay back," she screamed. Voice, layered, hers and something beneath. The walls groaned, pipes exploded. She dropped to her knees and screamed again, this time not in rage, but in pain. "I can't stop it," she cried. "Please run." Ryan stepped forward. 1 step. 2. "You told me once I didn't run, that I wasn't afraid." His voice trembled, but he kept walking. "You were right, and I'm still not." She looked up, tears glowing like liquid fire. "I'll kill you." "No," he said gently. "You'll remember who you are." The floor under her cracked. Her glow pulsed brighter. Wave of force slammed outward. Ryan hit the wall hard but stood again, blood on his forehead. Chest burning, but he didn't back away. Not 1 inch. He stepped into the center of the chaos, where even the air shimmered with heat and energy, and reached out. Not to grab her. Not to save her. Just to show her. He was still there. She saw him, and something in her changed. The glow in her hands trembled. The power rippled. Then flickered. Then dimmed. Like a storm slowly collapsing into rain. She collapsed forward into his arms, sobbing. The lights in the station stopped shaking. The air turned still again. And for the first time in years, Jari didn't burn. She breathed. Later, in the safety of the med bay, she whispered, "I felt it rising, the monster. It took over, I couldn't hear anything." "But you heard me," he said. She nodded. "Because you didn't run." He smiled. "You keep saying that like it's a surprise." She looked at him. And for the first time, she reached. Out she touched him and nothing exploded, no fire, no fear, just her hand in his, soft, warm, human. They tried to contain her, but he fought them with the truth. The next morning, soldiers came for her, not with chains, with orders. Subject Jari Valen is hereby to be transferred to Containment Bay 12 until further notice. No trial, no explanation. Just words from above. Cold. Final. Ryan stood between them and the bed where Jari sat, weak, quiet, scared. "You can't take her," he said. The lead officer frowned. "Move aside, medic." "No. She's unstable. She's healing. She nearly destroyed the lower decks." She stopped herself. The officer raised his voice. "You are not authorized to speak on her behalf." "I'm not speaking for her," Ryan said. "I'm speaking the truth." They dragged him out. No weapons, just words. But in a place run by fear, truth was already a weapon. Ryan went straight to the data center. He accessed Jari's med logs, stored energy readings, vital scans, brainwave recordings. Then he did something no one expected. He released everything, across the station network, across nearby colonies, across the outer comms. Her truth, her pain, her restraint, the power she held back, the lives she saved, the proof she never wanted to harm anyone. He attached one line. "If you're going to call her a monster, then show the galaxy what kind of monster sacrifices herself to save children." The response was immediate. First silence, then sparks. Then, first, why was she hidden? She saved us on Deck 7. That human medic stood for her, why won't command? And then someone else stepped forward. A child. Small, pale-skinned, half human, half Valari. She uploaded a video message, her voice soft, eyes wide. She saved me. When the fire came, she carried me through the wall. Her skin burned, but she didn't let go. I was not afraid of her. I was safe. That video spread faster than anything else, because the voice of a child is harder to silence. And truth, once seen, can't be unseen. Back in her cell, Zari sat quietly, waiting, for pain, for more control, for someone to forget she was alive. Then the guards came again, but this time, they didn't bring cuffs, they brought news. You're being released. Command says the pressure is too high. They're calling for review. She didn't understand. Not until she walked into the open corridor and saw Ryan standing there bruised but smiling. You fought them, she whispered. He nodded. With what? He held up his data pad. Your truth, and a voice that refused to lie about who you are. She stared at him, shaking. Then for the first time, she cried openly. Not from fear, from relief. That night, the station was quiet, but not afraid. People began to look at her differently, not with hate, with hope. And Zari, who once believed she'd never walk among others again, walked beside him, because the fire inside her never left. But now, it didn't have to burn alone. She was hated by both sides. But he chose her. They didn't lock her up again, but they didn't welcome her either. Zari was now under observation. She could walk the station halls, but people stared, whispered. Some moved out of her way. Others walked faster when she passed, even though she had saved them. Even though she had held back the fire inside her, none of it erased what she was, or what they thought she might become. The humans were afraid of her power. The Valari were ashamed of what she revealed. Neither side claimed her, so she stood between them, alone, until one hand reached out again. Rian. He stayed by her side, even when others warned him to step back. Don't ruin your life for her, an officer said. She's not your responsibility, said another. She's dangerous, and Ryan would always answer the same way. So is silence. They found a small room near the engine bays, old, dusty, abandoned. They made it their own, not a home, not yet, but a space where no one watched her like a weapon, where she could breathe without fear, where they could just exist, together. One night, she stood near the window staring out at the stars. They'll never forget what I am, she said. Ryan stood behind her. What are you? She turned, eyes glowing faintly, voice tired, half fire, half fear, made for war. He shook his head. No, you're someone who stopped a war, someone who protected a child, someone who still believes in peace even when peace gave up on her. She stared at him, then whispered, You don't have to choose me, Ryan. You could leave, start over, somewhere safer, somewhere quieter. He stepped forward, took her hand. Her fingers flinched, just a little, but didn't burn, and he said, I don't want quiet, I want you. I choose the girl who lit up a dark station. I choose the voice that says I'm not alone. I choose the fire that didn't destroy me. It made me stronger. Outside their room, the world still feared her. Some sent threats, some demanded her removal from the station. One day, an official came with a final offer. We'll move you to a frozen moon colony. Quiet, isolated. You'll be safe there. No. Attention. Zari asked one question. Can Ryan come with me? The answer, no, it's not allowed. She looked at Ryan. He didn't speak. He just held her hand tighter. Then she turned to the officer and said, Then I'm not going either. They chose exile on their own terms. They left the station together. No orders, no protection. Just two people. One carrying a fire, one carrying a promise to never let go. She was born to destroy. but he taught her how to heal. The world they found was cold, not cruel, just quiet. A far-off colony, half forgotten by both human and Valari governments. Mountains of blue stone, skies like faded glass, no soldiers, no orders, no judgment, just space and time. It was more than they needed, and more than either of them thought they'd ever have. Ryan built a small home from wrecked cargo parts and station steel. Jari carved energy lines through the frozen soil, warming the earth for food to grow. Her hands no longer sparked by accident. Her glow no longer meant danger. It meant life. Each day she learned a little more, how to hold her power, how to guide it, how to share it. And each night, she sat beside him by the fire. "Do you think I'm healed now?" she asked one evening. Ryan poked the flame with a stick. "You were never broken," she smiled, but softly. "Then what did you do for me?" He looked at her, held her gaze. "I didn't fix you. I just stayed long enough for you to see yourself again." As time passed, others came. Not many. Just a few. Drifters. Lost ones. Outcasts. From both sides. Some with powers like hers barely controlled. Some with nothing left but fear. Jari welcomed them all. She taught them what Ryan taught her. You are not a weapon. You are not what they built. You are what you choose next. Years later, children ran through the cold grass near the edge of the ridge. Some human, some alien, some both. And in the center of the settlement stood a tall arch, made of broken steel and glowing stone. Carved into the center were just a few words. She could have burned the world, but she chose to warm it instead. One evening, as the winds turned golden and soft, Ryan sat watching the horizon. Jari joined him. Her glow was faint now. Steady. Strong. He took her hand. She didn't flinch. She never did anymore. He looked at her, with that same quiet smile. "I think you became something stronger than a soldier." She raised an eyebrow. "What?" "A healer." She chuckled. "You gave me that title." "No," he said. "You earned it. The day you stopped running and started reaching back." She leaned her head on his shoulder and whispered, "I was made to destroy, but you gave me something else. You gave me the choice to stay human, and so she stayed. Not as a legend, not as a danger, but as a girl once feared by galaxies, now known only by the people she healed, and the human who never let her go."